Cis women think they're gonna give me f***ing tips. Your husbands are DMing me in the middle of the night and you think you're gonna give me tips. I walk in the room, all eyes are on me.
Please give money to trans people. Please give money to black people. Please give money to people who need to leave because we need to leave. We need to get to safety very, very soon.
Brokenness will always find a way. Like,
this is what misgendering looks like.
Is this what misgendering looks like? Or is this what some sort of maladaptive personality disorder looks like?
It's okay to punch Nazis!
I'm tested today.
And let me say something else, resentfully. Cis women think they're gonna give me tips. Cis women think they're gonna give me f***ing tips. Your husbands are DMing me in the middle of the night and you think you're gonna give me tips. I walk in the room, all eyes are on me. You couldn't pay people to pay attention to you and you wanna give me tips? When we stand next to each other, I look like an 8-foot tall goddess and you look like one of the 7 dwarves. And then you want to act like...
Today's podcast is sponsored by Hypnosio. It's a self-hypnotherapy app that is genuinely not like anything else in the weight loss space. And I know everyone always says, this is different, this is different. This one genuinely is. Hypnosio doesn't just throw another diet at you or shame you into working out, because that never works. It goes deep and works with your literal subconscious to achieve the goals that you want. It helps you rewire the emotional patterns that lead to stress eating, binge eating, overeating, and just overall self-sabotaging your goals. It uses guided hypnotherapy sessions available on any device or through their app. It'll target things like emotional eating, portion control, anxiety eating, and even the literal guilt and stress that makes you feel stuck and is such a roadblock for so many people. It's science-backed, clinically supported, and honestly, it's way more affordable than seeing an actual hypnotherapist in person. So here's what makes it so cool. It helps rewire your automatic food responses, lowers your stress and cortisol levels so that your body isn't fighting the progress. It teaches mindful eating and real hunger cues. And it supports long-term weight loss. 94% of its users kept the weight off better than control groups. And especially if you're someone who's busy, always traveling, or just doesn't want to have to micromanage your calories, this is so perfect for you. And plans start as low as $11 a month, which is insane since it's literally reshaping your brain's relationship with food. So if you're ready to stop fighting yourself and finally feel in control, head to hypnosio.com or download the app from the Google Play or App Store. Try it today. Thank you so much to Hypnosio for sponsoring this video. And now on to the rest of the video. All eyes are on you. One of your eyes is in Nebraska. One of your eyes is down the street. The left one specifically. That was mean. But mean doesn't equal incorrect. And when you're a bully, you know, when you come on the internet with that kind of aggressive, nasty, just nasty behavior, you can get clocked and someone has to. Here's the thing. I feel like I'm always having to educate the trans women. I would think that part of a successful transition to living as a woman would be learning to not hate women. That would just be a suggestion. I can't say I ever was there in that low vibrational pit that you're clearly in. And so I didn't ever have to learn how to, you know, work through my anti-woman issues. I think it's weird to have an anti-woman thing. And I feel the same, whether it's coming from an incel, Redditor, you know, AGP-ass tranny like this, or like a, you know, bro podcaster, you know, calling women in to clown them on like being hoes and stuff. I think it's just weird to be anti, you know, a sex. I think it's weird. And especially when you're trying to be that, it's kind of like, what are you doing? We can call that self-hate, or we can call that projection. We can call that you don't know yourself. You don't know yourself. And maybe the reason why you clearly hate yourself enough to try to put women down, talking about you look like a goddess and they look like dwarves. First of all, lies, fairy tales, fantasies. It's just really not giving that. And it's, they act like, it's trans women who act like that like 7th grade mean girl stuff that like women work through really early in life and know not to do that as adults, is like saying that men wanting to have sex with you is somehow a flex. Men want to fuck toasters. I wouldn't leave my hamster around a man for too fucking long. I wouldn't leave a pie on a table for too long. Okay? So the idea that like there's value in being wanted by men, definitely decenter men as well, because that's a little bit pathetic. A little bit pathetic. And then on top of that, If you felt like you were really the baddest bitch like that, you wouldn't need to put women down. And it sounds like you're so mad because they're giving you tips. I think you need it. First of all, starting with that male aggression. Because nothing says I'm a man like this. You could have just said I'm a man and kept it pushing.
I have a very serious question for those of you who keep missing my gender. When have you ever met a he, him who looks like this? Huh? She, her, yes. They, them, sure. He, him, who? And if you do know a he who hims like this, power to him. But the he, hims I know, never he, the way I, she. So when I
Jeffree Star, James Charles, David Bowie, Adam Lambert. These are just the public figures. I have, in fact, met men who choose to look like that. Better question, when have I seen a bitch with a 5 o'clock shadow like that? That's a lot more rare, actually. I don't know. I feel like people are just so embarrassing. Like, I would never come up on camera fighting for my life like this. Like, the idea of, I guess I've never really thought about it before, but the idea of coming up on camera like, you guys, you need to call me she, is so embarrassing. Very debasing. And I feel like you're punching yourself more than anyone could ever punch you. It's just quite embarrassing.
This is an urgent call to all trans people, people of color, anybody potentially affected by this.
By what?
Please reach out to me if you would like me to boost your videos, specifically right now. Please give money to trans people. Please give money to black people. Please give money to people who need to leave because we need to leave. We need to get to safety very, very soon. It's going to be very bad.
You know, brokenness will always find a way. Like, for me, it's just like, maybe it's easier to not be so like annoyed and mad at this person when you realize this is just a beggar on the street talking about giving you money. This is just your fucking friend from high school putting up some bullshit GoFundMe that you ignore. But, you know, the person does appear to be crying, so I'll say that some of this they're clearly taking seriously. And my heart is torn between the empathy of, I'm being real, don't laugh. I can feel that for this person. My heart is torn between the empathy of, it really is sad that we live in this complete propagandized, sick country, and the media has such a grasp on people's mental health and minds that they really are crying and thinking that it's about to go down like that, like syndrome. It is not about to go down like syndrome. Y'all have been saying they're going to put us in goddamn camps since 2015. The line has not changed. They couldn't even put an M on my driver's license. Ain't nobody taking me to no damn camp. I said that in a previous part of the podcast that everyone was saying, oh, Blaire's leaving Texas because Texas is putting out all these anti-trans things and she's going to have to get mail on her driver's license. And I just got a new license a week ago and it says F. Because nothing they ever fearmonger about ever comes true. Ever. Ever. That was the one that was like, they may be right about that one. I mean, and I wouldn't even care that much, like I said in the previous video, but they couldn't even change my gender marker. You think I got to like flee the country? And then I also have the empathy of like, this is clearly not somebody who is struggling with trans. This is clearly someone who's struggling with a lot. I mean, they're disheveled. I mean, I'm not being mean. This is a disheveled person. But because trans is now a complete industry that's filled to the brim with malpractice and people willing to just see some sick, sad person and validate them that they're trans, they get to walk around talking about that like it's real. And then again, to pretend as if you wouldn't, how are they going to snatch you up for being trans? No shade, but look at you. You could hide yourself as a man. You wouldn't have to hide. No, I wouldn't. I genuinely would not walk past you as a trans person myself and be like, oh, there's a fellow trans person. I'd be like, that's a guy. I was going to try to give you something else, like a guy with maybe a feminine here or there. No, that's just like a guy. So even if they were rounding up the trannies, do not act like you wouldn't be able to completely Anne Frank it. You could Arnold Frank that shit so easy. They ain't getting you. If it does go down, I guess they would get me. But even then, you know, I have God, so it doesn't matter. But you need God. Find him ASAP.
I'm actually non-binary and use they them pronouns. I definitely could see that. In the best way possible, you look like you'd be non-binary. Slay, they. You realize that isn't a compliment, right? Huh? Why? While it's validating I present the way I want to, my validation doesn't have to come at the expense of other non-binary folks who can't or don't want to look androgynous.
Shut up, bitch. I feel like I'm so mean today. I guess it just feels so like you can never please them. They opened it up with a skit about someone complimenting them after they come out as non-binary, and then they're mad about it. Like, what is the point? What is the point? Including you in society and common language benefits who exactly? Because not even y'all are happy. So if you're like, you need to take me seriously because it's important for my mental health, it's clearly still depleted, baby girl, baby boy, baby they. It's clearly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Someone could compliment you and you're still going to find a way to twist it and get it twisted and be mad about it. It's very obnoxious. Your name's Corn. I got to remember to always look at their names because it's always funny. Corn. Courn. Oh my God. Get this corny, goofy bitch out of here. Corn. I'm mad about that, actually. It's something about non-binary females and like female to males that I'm like, what is with the name choices? Because you got like what they always do, Finn, Corn.
This is what misgendering looks like. I want to show you the power of giving or withholding an aspect of someone's identity from them.
I'm tested today. I feel like I'm genuinely being tested by God to be a little bit nicer in this one. Okay. Is this what misgendering looks like? Or is this what some sort of maladaptive personality disorder looks like? Because, again, the problem with this overinflation of trans as a concept is it's a lot of people with other issues getting swooped up by that. Case in point, this one and the last video, actually. Because see, in these reacting to trans TikTok videos, I'm rarely ever reacting to trans people. Keep it real. Everybody who's like Blaire bashes trans people, I would say like 80% of the people in my like trans videos are not even trans. The idea that someone could ever withhold part of your identity, as you just said, from you, like they could steal that from you, that's not how an identity works. And so if your identity feels that frail, fragile, and intangible to you that someone can take it away from you by calling you something you don't want to be called, maybe you weren't that strong in it in the first place. Because I could have a million motherfuckers talking about he. To me, that means they're withholding something from me. Why are you empowering people that are supposedly hurting you? Like, why would you ever give any person that power to invalidate you? And then on the flip side, keeping it real, it's very much the same to give anybody the power to validate you. I don't ask anybody permission to be me, bitch. I don't need the pro-trans people. I don't need the people who are trans women or women. I don't need people to be up in the comments like, no, Blaire is a woman, don't call her he. I don't need the anti-trans people to take it away from me. No one can take anything away from me. I can give it up, which is what you're doing. Or I can be so, insecure that it really would affect me like that. And it's not to say necessarily I would be like not human, that if someone really came up and said something foul as fuck to me or really came at me, it wouldn't like ruin my day or something. But that's clearly not the case here. It's clearly not the case here. So I actually feel bad for this person. They're not crying about no damn pronoun, and you can tell. So please don't go put in this person's comments anything negative from Blaire White. Maybe go put like a God bless you, God loves you, you're gonna be all right, sis. Because she ain't. The emotion seems real. The emotion seems real, but then it begs the question: what is she really crying about? You know what I mean? Like you never had a conversation with somebody and they just get really mad about something, and you're like, you ain't mad at that. You're mad at something else. That's way too much. That's this. People are just so like, I don't say this in like a looking down on people way. I don't say this in a negative way, but people just give way too much of a fuck about what people think about them. And I know that's a cliche, but like cliches are often cliche because they're true. And we shouldn't lose that. Like, why do people care so much about how other people perceive them? I feel like it's like maybe my like, there are certain borders to my understanding too, right? Like I don't know what it's like on the other border of like needing people to see me as trans or needing people to see me as something. I care about how I see myself first and foremost, and then family and friends. And then above all that, for me, lately in life, it's God. So why does a cashier calling you something put you into this kind of a psychosis? It really shouldn't do that. So good luck. What is the caption? Dylan Mulvaney puts on a beard and wig to promote his musical and life after girlhood. Okay. Here's the thing. I'm not about kicking people while they're down. And Dylan Mulvaney's fall from grace, that happened, right? So I'm not even on some like F this person thing right now. It's more so like, this is the best evidence probably I've seen that this person is just completely about, it's just a theater kid. It's just a fucking theater kid. It's just a person. If you can, as a dysphoric, whatever trans woman, put a beard on and be talking about, I mean, you look like the caveman from the Geico commercials or whatever. Like, exactly like him, actually. Exactly. Twinning. It's a theater kid. It's an actor. But that's the problem, is seeing trans as an act, and then you come up on, you know, the world stage, you Illuminati ass bitch, and you make it to be this thing that's an act, like you falling over from the fucking, like, the birds or the bugs in the air or whatever you're doing. All that acts. Dylan Mulvaney made more transphobes than, like, any trans person ever. I would say even more than, like the Jessica Neves or, like, the pervert ones. It's the one that had the most people, like, I'm off that shit. Is Dylan Mulvaney. Powerful. But, you know, no one asked for that. Let's just say that. This motherfucker is crazy. Talking to me about patriotism as a Mexican-American transgender woman. I'm sure this will be sane.
To say a lot of stuff we thought was obvious, like, yes, it's okay to punch Nazis.
The male aggression accusations, they can just not escape them. I know I'm a warrior ass bitch, but I guess I just like, I'm not going to say I'm not like a fighter or whatever, because I am, but it's just a way to do it in like a man way and a woman way. Like, it's just, they just love coming up on camera hulked out, you know, she hulked out. And then of course, like, it's okay to punch Nazis. You know what? Maybe I would get behind that if y'all could ever accurately clock a real Nazi. Even once. And again, I beg the libs to discover any other fact about history. It's like y'all got to the part in middle school where we learned about World War II and you're like, that's enough. My brain will take no more. No more. Like, I just want to get off the narrative. How everybody's a fucking Nazi. Or not. Like, the whole paradigm we live in is based off World War. Now I'm getting mad. The entire paradigm we live in is based off this World War II status quo. And it's like, get to something else. It's been almost 100 years. Not for nothing.
Not to date trans people is not merely a preference. Preference when it comes to dating is like liking taller partners, wanting them to have certain hobbies and interests, wanting them to have a certain color eyes or whatever. But when it's a preference, it means that it's an option, but it's not a hard line. It's not a hard no. It's not a hard stop. When someone says that they're not willing to date a trans person, they're drawing a hard line. When you draw that hard line, it shifts from preference to prejudice. choose not to date somebody because they're trans, regardless of attraction, compatibility, etc., 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 dehumanizes trans people and makes it seem as though trans people are just inherently undateable.
I think it's important to always speak for ourselves. Maybe you find that to be the case. But it's a lot of trans people out here who have never had any problem finding people to date or people into them. Number one. Number two, this is a female to male. And I always give props when I need to. I believe that you got a man living inside of you, because this is the most, again, I rarely see that, like, you know, sexual pressure, masculine, aggressive stuff with like female to males. Usually they're more chill. You are really doing the whole man thing, like trying to pressure people into being with you quite well, but it's very disturbing and unnecessary, because of course people have a right to not want to date you. Of course they do. What if people want to have kids? What if they really actually like trans people but just want to have kids? You know, there's a million reasons. I'm not going to get caught up in justifying why, you know, someone wouldn't want to be with somebody. But I'm trans and wouldn't date a trans person. So what's that mean? In fact, I find the trans people who date trans people to be, it's a bit odd. There's just a bit too many problems in one relationship, in my opinion. But anyways, that was me being a little petty. But that doesn't mean wrong. Please just stop sounding stupid on the internet if you could. I do beg that of you. Because these are the exact things that people don't need to be hearing from trans people anymore. Ain't nobody putting up with any pressure to date and or bang you, to put cartoons about you in on Netflix for little kids. Ain't nobody really caught up in that pressure anymore. So get over it. Thanks again to Hypnosio for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Go check them out. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel as well as my podcast channel. Follow me on X, TikTok, Instagram, all the things. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.